today speaking to wonderful Melissa Jans van Rensburg, who is one of our supervisors in the Coaching Catalysts Supervision Collective. So for those of you who are new to us, Rebecca Daniel and myself, Sarah Bramall, co-formed the Coaching Catalysts back in 2021. And what we do at the Coaching Catalysts is we provide professional development for coaches post-qualification. So that's both through supervision, as well as training, as well as mentor coaching for ICF accreditation. And we're incredibly proud of the coaching community that we have and the wonderful work that our coaches do, but we don't do it alone. We are supported by a fabulous team of supervisors, trainers, mentor coaches, and Melissa is one of our wonderful supervisors and trainers in the Supervision Collective. So we're going to be hearing today a bit more about Melissa, about supervision, about what she loves about supervision, and we're also going to be inviting you or offering you the opportunity to join us next week during International Coaching Week, which is an incredibly exciting week for coaches globally. There's a lot going on during International Coaching Week because it's a time for us as professional coaches across the globe to come together and celebrate the power and impact of coaching. And for us at the Coaching Catalysts, coaching is always accompanied by supervision. So, Melissa, thank you for making the time to be with me. Really great to have you. Would you like to offer an introduction to anybody listening who hasn't had the pleasure of getting to know you yet?
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. It's lovely to be here today. So my name is Melissa. I am a PCC certified coach with the ICF. I started my coaching journey in 2019. Did coaching for about 3-4 years and then decided I really wanted to do something more in the industry, and then I qualified as a coaching supervisor as well. And yeah, so at the moment I'm both coaching, associate coaching work, and then obviously helping with the Coaching Catalyst as a supervisor and have my own supervision practice as well.
Fabulous. Thank you for your introduction. And you came into coaching, as you said, sort of 2019. What drew you into coaching initially?
I went through my own coaching experience and life changes and all of that, and felt that my previous career wasn't fulfilling me in the way that I really wanted to, and knew that I had more to give to others, and went through the journey of exploring what it would look like for me to become a coach. And then it kind of happened. It was actually my retirement plan. I was like, oh, maybe when I retire, I'll become a coach. But it happened a lot sooner than that. I'm very grateful that it did.
Oh, me too. Very grateful that it did and that you're here with us. So that's really funny, isn't it? Because I think I often hear two patterns. I often hear, which is in my case, I came across coaching through something I was doing in my sort of previous profession, or your story, which is I had coaching and it changed my life, and I kind of realised that I then wanted to qualify as a coach. So that's brilliant. And who is it as a coach? Who is it you work with? What nature of work do you do as a coach?
So my coaching work is mostly associate coaching, where I work with leaders and professionals on their own development, and then also how their leadership styles, who they are in the environment that they're working in, supporting them with all kinds of challenges, such as confidence, influencing, resilience in the corporate environments as well. So that's a lot of the work that I do at the moment.
Fabulous, fabulous. And what led you into supervision?
I was actually part of the training faculty, or supporting the training faculty in my coach training school. I was in the room supporting with a lot of new coaches being trained, and I really enjoyed that work. And wanted to become a trainer, but also saw the option of supervision as something that I could give back. So at the moment I'm doing a little bit of both, well, mostly supervision and a little bit of training, but that's definitely what prompted me, or what ignited the spark to give back in that way.
Oh, fabulous. And so supervision was embedded then in that initial coach training in the school that
It actually
Yeah.
It actually wasn't. It wasn't. But like when Yeah, when I did my own research into what can I do to give back and to be sort of like supporting coaches in their development, I came across supervision myself, and that's how I learned about supervision. Because my coach training school back then, they didn't really tell us about supervision. It was
Right.
not something that they advertised. So that was something I had to learn outside of my coach training. And then I became interested in it and thought this is something I'd like to do as well.
Yeah, fantastic. And that's really interesting, isn't it? Because I think awareness of supervision, the importance of supervision is really, I mean, it's always been there, obviously, but in terms of it being a mandatory part of initial coach training, it's still relatively new. And even, even in the last couple of weeks, we've seen the ICF once again kind of increase the emphasis
Yeah.
on the importance of supervision, which signals a huge trend and shift in terms of the way that the industry is going.
Yeah, definitely. That's something that I've noticed as a supervisor. Like when I started my diploma, that was in 2022, like the amount of awareness around supervision in the last couple of years has grown like a lot, and it's wonderful to see as well that more people are becoming aware of what supervision is and how it can also benefit them as coaches and their clients, obviously.
Yeah, 100%. And I know you and I are completely on the same page with this. Like, we're both hugely passionate about supervision and the importance of it. But if you're a coach and you haven't yet experienced supervision, or if you're not sure what it is, listening to this, what would you say to any coach who might be kind of supervision curious?
That it helps you essentially to become the best coach that you can be. It's there to support your development into looking at yourself as a coach, who you are, how you're showing up, your practice, so that the impact that your clients have and the results that they have is a lot more than you would maybe potentially offer if you didn't have supervision or weren't in supervision.
Yes. And, again, this is something that I'm really passionate about, because about doing what we can to make sure that we are the best coach that we can be. Because when somebody enters into a coaching relationship with us, they firstly make a financial investment, or the organisation does on their behalf. But I think more importantly, they trust us. We build that relationship, right, of trust with them, and they trust us with their progress, with their thinking, with their learning, with their vulnerability. And so, actually, we have a huge responsibility as coaches to make sure that we're performing as well as we possibly can, that we're continuing to learn and grow, but that we're practicing safely and ethically as well.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I completely agree with you. Like, I think we're on the same page with a lot of things.
we're on the same page with a lot of things, which is why we're delighted to have you in the coaching community. So, Melissa, you hold group supervision for us at the Coaching Catalyst. What's it like as a coach to come into the supervision space with you?
So I like to think, and I've had obviously the feedback before, that I create a genuine, warm, safe space for coaches to come into, where they feel accepted for what they bring, who they are, and then also a brave space as well, because what would supervision be without holding up a mirror, spotlighting on certain things to help you grow? So challenging in a gentle but a firm way as well when is required and needed, and just a place to have fun as well. Like, often, we need to laugh at ourselves a little bit, or to find the humor in things, and so I like to use metaphors and be creative in my supervision as well. And so it's just all round a fun, warm, safe, brave space.
I love that. What a fabulous description. And yes, absolutely. We have to have that foundation, right, of trust and safety first before we can have permission to stretch and to challenge. And I think you do that really beautifully in the spaces that you create. But I also love what you brought there about it being fun and being creative, because I think sometimes our kind of perception of supervision can be that can be a sense of heaviness, like, oh, I've got to bring the ugly stuff that I don't want anybody to see, or the heavy stuff. And that's true. Like sometimes we do bring that stuff to supervision, but actually countering that with a kind of with a warmth, with a lightness, is really valuable, really, really important. And yeah, I feel the same. That's something I like to do with my groups as well. Just make sure that we inject some humour, that we have some fun, that we have a good, kind of laugh together, as well as bringing the kind of the vulnerable and the heavy stuff too. And I read something shared by Jonathan Passmore actually last week that said that is actually one of the things that AI will not be able to replace in humans, that ability to create those relationships, and in particular humour, use of humour in coaching is something that AI, we think, probably won't be able to do.
Yes, yes, and we're very we're very fortunate and grateful for that as well, I think, as practitioners. I think you want a space where you can feel human, right? Where you can come and you can just be yourself, and that allows you to connect with everyone in the room as well. When we're showing up vulnerably, that creates connection. And so then the support that we receive from our fellow coaches in the group and peers is deeper than it would be if we weren't showing up with our humanity.
Right. Yeah, really good point. And again, that's something I say to my groups. It's like it's not about kind of impressing us with the most interesting case. It's about bringing like what's most, what's top of mind, like what's most important or valuable for you to bring. So if again, I'm thinking about coaches who might be watching this who maybe haven't experienced supervision, because there are lots of coaches out there, even very experienced coaches who haven't engaged in supervision, maybe because when you were training it just wasn't part of your kind of initial training, and you haven't sort of been engaged in supervision. So if you're a coach and you're thinking, okay, what's this supervision thing about, and what kind of thing would I bring, what sorts of things might coaches bring to the supervision space?
So I'm thinking in the three pillars, formative, normative. So about you as a coach, right? Like maybe you had a session with a client that really triggered something in you. Maybe they're going through an experience that you have been through and you're still dealing with or processing emotionally. Yeah. So bringing that and just exploring what was coming up in the session with the client. So that internal work as a coach. It could also be ethical challenges that you might have with a client. The client's sharing something with you that you feel needs or would benefit from being heard in other spaces as well, like for an ethical perspective. Yeah. Also, just your models or the tools you're using and the effect that that's having for the client. Sometimes we get into a rut with what we're doing. Right. And then, we kind of like do the same thing the whole time with our clients. We use the same language, and eventually that creates like stagnation, and our clients maybe don't really get the benefit that they would if we looked at ourselves and changed up our ways of working a little bit. So there's so much. That's just touching the top of the iceberg of what you can bring into supervision.
Yes, thank you. But that gives us a sense of the sorts of things that you might bring. But you're right, like anything that is coming up for you that's impacting on your practice is absolutely valid to bring to supervision. But I'm just going to touch on the third thing that you shared there about the bringing, getting stuck in a rut maybe with your coaching, and actually supervision being a really great learning space to kind of open up ideas and ignite maybe different tools, different approaches, even questions that you are not currently using in your practice. Because we learn, don't we, so much from group supervision, from being in spaces with our peer coaches. So can you just tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so yes, in groups, you're learning from the people that are in the group with you, right? Yeah. They're sharing potential challenges that they have in situations, and as a group, we're unpacking it, we're reflecting on it together to see how you could have done things differently, what you might try next time. And so everyone is learning at the same time together on this challenge, and it doesn't only help the person that is in the exploration seat, but it's helping all the other coaches in the room with new ideas and things to try.
Yes. So I guess it's a collaborative learning space, isn't it? Because we're sharing, and actually it's really rare and really precious, because obviously because of the confidential nature of coaching, like we generally don't share like what we're doing with our clients, even what we're using. So to actually have those spaces to say, okay, I tried this approach and this is how it went and this is what went well and this is my learning from it, it's a really rare insight actually into other people's practice that we have the privilege of having in that supervision space.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I love about it. Is like all these minds can come together, and we can all learn and grow from each other. So it challenges us in that way as well, because it challenges to look outside of our usual, the things that have become habitual for us in our coaching practice,
Yeah.
and just open up the blinders a little bit.
Yes. Yes. So I'm sensing we widen our perspectives, we all come together, we collate, we share all of the different ideas that the collective thinking can have, and that raises practice for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a saying that from my coach training school, right? I mean, it was raising the consciousness of the world one person at a time.
Lovely.
And it's like the supervision, you come to that space and we're all raising our awareness of ourselves, of our practices together, one person at a time. So yeah, I kind of like the connection between the two.
Beautiful. No, I really love that. Yeah. And we have that privilege, don't we, as coaches, coaching peers within a supervision space, that we are raising consciousness of ourselves and by extension of our clients, one person at a time. But when we come together and we do that collectively as a group of coaches, it accelerates or magnifies that process of expansion. Yeah. Okay. So I love that approach. I'm very, very passionate about group supervision alongside individual supervision. Also very proud of what we've created at the Coaching Catalyst, because we've brought together yourself and our fellow kind of supervisors within the supervision collective, and I know that as a team we all learn and grow by connecting with each other and sharing best practice as well.
Yeah,
which is special.
And that's what I love about the collective as well, is that it feels like a team. It doesn't feel like you're on your own working for a company. It feels like we're all in this together, growing and learning with each other.
Yeah, it's fabulous. And so for the coaches who come to us in the collective, yes, you come and you make a choice of your supervisor and you make a commitment to joining that supervisor for 6 months. But then at the end of that 6-month cohort, if you think, oh, actually, I'd like to have a different experience, and actually rather than working with Sarah, I'd like to work with Melissa, for example, then we have the opportunity to switch around and we learn different things, don't we, from different supervisors, different experiences.
Yeah. I think it's important in our career as well to not be with the same supervisor or the same mentor coach like for years on end, because those new perspectives, or as you say, always helping us grow. So it's good to change things up a bit as well.
100%. And I'll just share this quickly before we close, but that was one learning when I started my training as a supervisor. Our wonderful trainer Julia said to me, I was like, oh, it's fine, Julia, I've been in supervision for years, I'm fine. She said, yeah, Sarah, I think maybe it's time to change supervisor. And I was like, oh, no, I loved my supervisor, I loved my supervision group. She said, but you're comfortable, you're really comfortable there. And actually part of the growth that we get in the supervision space is a bit of discomfort is a good thing. So that was a good learning for me as well.
Oh, lovely. That sounds like an amazing learning. Yeah.
Oh,
we need that. We need to change things up a bit, because the growth is movement. So yeah.
Exactly that. Yeah, growth is movement, and it's good to keep moving, good to keep changing and changing things up. So on that note, if you're thinking, oh yeah, maybe I've got a little bit comfortable in my coaching practice and haven't engaged in supervision for a while, or maybe you haven't engaged in supervision at all, do come and join us next week. So we're offering free workshops every day next week from Monday to Friday at the Coaching Catalysts, all about coaching, all about supervision, everything from coaching presence to reflective practice to the opportunity to connect with other coaches globally. And as Melissa's shared here, when we connect with each other, it affirms that me too, that I'm not the only person experiencing this stuff. But also, it really helps to raise our confidence. It helps to reduce that feeling of loneliness that we can sometimes have as coaches. So, do make the time to come and connect with us next week. So, when you're watching this, you'll see in the description, in the comments, a link to join us. If you can't find it, or if it's easier, just DM us or comment ICW, International Coaching Week, ICW, and one of our team will send the information to you. So Melissa, huge thank you for making the time. It's been such a pleasure to speak to you today. Thank you for all that you bring to the Coaching Catalyst. You're a greatly valued member of our team.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. It's been a pleasure as well, as always.
Oh, thanks, Melissa.